I'm ate hot dogs with the family.
Mind-wise.
So once we get started, I want all jury to go off camera unless you are speaking. That way the stream will work a little better. Because it shows like who's on there. Like right now, I can see McKenna, David, Carlo, and Jeremy on the stream. So, and I'm going to be on so I can give you countdowns. Alex, while you're in the background or on video, can you, the faces she's making, I have no idea what she's saying.
Sorry.
No, that was oh fuck.
It's been a rough day. No, I'm only on video because I'm trying to set my iPad up for when I'm on. So I'm going to get off in just a second.
Can you also bug Benji to get on in the background while we get started?
I can try. Shit.
I'm so upset that I'm the only one with Chipotle. So.
All right. So I'm gonna wait for Alex to get settled and then we'll get started.
Sorry, I'll just go off camera.
Who is the butt?
Benji, that you?
That is me.
All right, Benji's here.
Benji.
Okay, his name is just the butt. Okay, just to be clear. Okay. All right, so let's get started. We have everybody here. So congratulations, Jeremy and McKenna, on being the final two for Keyholder Season 1. So you guys know how this is going to work. We've gone through it with you guys. We've gone through it with the jury. So you're each going to have 5 minutes to say your speech. I will go on camera and mute myself so that you can see my countdown on my fingers. So that way you have a little reference. But I will cut you off at 5 minutes. Same with jury. So with that being said, is there any questions before we get started from anybody? All right, I'm gonna go on video. I'm not looking flyest, but I'm here. Hi. All right, so we are going to start with McKenna. So McKenna, your time starts when you start speaking.
Okay, I'm super excited and super honored to be here. This season has been a lot of fun. And I want to start by thanking the hosts who allowed me to play, all of you on jury, and also the pre-jury for making this game so enjoyable. And then I also want to thank Jeremy for choosing me to be sitting next to you here tonight. That's actually something I want to start about being open about off the bat, my relationship with Jeremy. Before playing this Keyholder game, Jeremy and I had never played a game before, but we also weren't complete strangers either. We'd both seen each other play other games and had mutual friends who had kind of connected us. So we did know that each other had applied for Keyholder, and that is a big part of why we were as close from the start as we were. That said, our friendship developed immensely playing this game together, and we also both played the game pretty differently from what I can tell. And so coming in, I wanted to take the game in phases, and even some just round by round. Early on, I wanted to be social and figure out some people that I wanted to work with, but also sort of market myself in a way where others felt like they could work with me. And I believe that I did that. I was in so many alliance chats early on. I was a little overwhelmed. There was the Penthouse, the Hallowed Grounds, the Serial Killers, the Fantastic Four, the Good Vibes and Pretty Faces, the Middle Ground, so many different ones that I was in. Being added to all these chats and sort of seeing the overlapping and conflicting people and groupings, I knew that a lot of them wouldn't last super long. And so at that point, I knew that I needed to sit and be an observer. Be social without giving too many opinions, and also use all this information that I was getting to figure out where people stood, who they wanted to work with and who they didn't. At one point, I even drew out like a little web with all the people, all the alliances, and sort of drew lines to connect people and who they wanted to work with. For example, I knew Jordan was actually going to expose the Penthouse because he told me. After that whole thing, I was able to maintain a pretty good relationship with both those in and out of the Penthouse immediately after. Another example of this is later on when Jeff created the Serial Killers. At that point, I was already in the Fantastic Four with David, who had told us that Jeff wanted this grouping days earlier. So when Jeff asked me about it, I knew exactly who to tell Jeff I wanted to work with because I knew who he wanted to work with. This is also kind of how I knew that the Hallowed Grounds would be a short-lived alliance because Jeff was going to be loyal to the Serial Killers, David was going to be loyal to the Fantastic Four, and then there was Benji, who I really liked, but I could see was sort of being pushed out, and so I had hoped that I would be able to bridge the gap there a little bit. I think it was after the Jazzy vote where I had a pretty good understanding of sort of who was with who and where people's heads were at. And so I knew that I just needed to be at the center of the main group, but I also needed nobody to know it. So kind of BB 101, I guess, have a group within a group within a group within a group. I had a lot of groups, and I knew that the serial killers combined with the Fantastic Four would take me to the final 5. Then I had the Fantastic Four to go to 4. Jeremy and I had a final 3 with both David and another one with Daniel. And then I had my final 2 with Jeremy, which got me to exactly here. Kay, at one point you called out people for throwing competitions, and that was me, 100%. I threw a lot of competitions early on, but I hope you know that that wasn't because I didn't care or because I didn't want to play the game. It truly was just a part of my strategy. Being the key holder is exciting and it gives you power, but it also is scary. It comes with damage control and consequences afterwards. It only provides you safety for 1 round. And I felt like for me, the social relationships and information flow that I was getting were much more valuable for gaining that sort of long-term safety. And I did end up winning comps when I felt like I needed / should, and I'm proud of that too. I studied a lot for some of those competitions, but I truly felt like it was best for me to not win early on, given sort of the social strategic nature of the way that I play the game, I suppose. And because of that I was never nominated for eviction once this entire season. Honestly, that actually is something I'm pretty proud of. And at the very end, when I needed that relationship to come through to get me picked to sit right here, they did, and I'm here. And so I feel like there is a lot more that I want to say, but I know that I only have 5 minutes and I'm cutting it close. So I'm very anxious / excited for all of your questions. And I also want to emphasize that I truly loved playing with all you guys. It was not fun to evict anyone, and there were some tough situations, but every decision I made was 100% for the betterment of my game. And I hope you guys can respect that regardless of how all this goes. I genuinely hope to reconnect and maintain a friendship with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you so much, McKenna, for keeping that right on point in the 5-minute range. Awesome. All right, Jeremy, you now have the floor. So the time will start when you start speaking.
First of all, I want to thank production and also all the members of the jury, the pre-jury, everybody who made this game the incredible fun time that we all had here and the gut-wrenching moments and all of the laughs and ridiculousness that we had. I played this game with a lot of heart, commitment, love, and joy, and I want you all to know that nothing I did or said was just to be fake and advance my position in the game. I wasn't nice and chatty with people just for the sake of it. I genuinely loved getting to know each and every one of you. Right off the top, I saw Kendall and was like, oh my God, amazing. I loved her when we played Big Brother Hogwarts together. So I knew she'd be someone who, while we wouldn't work closely together, would be on my side if I was at risk and I would be on hers. I also saw McKenna and I knew that she was applying through our mutual connections, but we had never played before. So going in, we had enough rapport that I said, all right, this is my ride or die. Let's run the game. Day 1, we had our final 2 locked in. By the end of day 3, the Fantastic Four was formed, consisting of myself, David, McKenna, and Daniel. David came to me wanting to form a core 4, and the one thing I ensured was that McKenna would be part of it, guaranteeing that we would have at least 4 votes on our side at all times to then work from as a base. Despite being in very few other alliance chats, I had a consistent flow of information coming to me from Jeff's serial killers, Benji's hollowed ground, and David's the middle ground. Consistently in the game, I knew where everyone else stood, and I knew where to focus my efforts. On day 10, the inner circle was formed. Daniel mentioned to me expecting David to either be too good with people and blow up his game, or that he'd talk too much and blow up his game. So we formed a 3-person chat with myself, Daniel, and McKenna. None of us made this with the intention of cutting David hella early, but we did want to be prepared for if something went awry, we had some kind of backup to go with. And because David was really pushing for me to take out Jeff as soon as possible because he didn't want to be the one to do it, and I couldn't yet for my game. On Benji's first key holder, I knew I was the renom, and the second time around, I knew I was going home if I didn't win that spare key. By round 5, I had made myself a huge target by starting a public fight with Benji, winning spare key and key holder back-to-back, but this served me in 2 ways. One is that I was the public target of someone who was perceived as a comp threat, so no one else was going to make a move on me, they'd let Benji do it. And it also meant that I always had a target in Benji and I didn't have to get any extra blood on my hands. My game started to shift at the Carlo vote. This is also when Kay and Benji started reaching out to me about burying shit with Benji and moving on together, which despite what came after this, I genuinely was willing to do. Expecting to go into a live night afterwards and Benji deciding to vote with Jeff and the other Fantastic Four members, I knew I was in a good position. This was also the round when Kay said that David would skate by his way to the end and win. And when I realized that David was setting himself up to be good with all the other jury members and have me be the one with all the blood on my hands of Benji, Jeff, Daniel, and Kay. That day, I decided that no matter how the season played out, if I was the final key holder, I could not be sitting next to David because all I would get told from the jury is I told you so. At top 7, when I won my second key holder, had I or one of the nominees won spare key, McKenna and I had discussed the possibility of backdooring David because of his threat level and because we knew he'd been throwing comps all season. I knew that our position in the game was very precarious, so we had to be careful about what we suggested. If Daniel went to David or Jeff and Daniel talked and we had said too much, we would be out. Then came the end game. McKenna wins and I volunteer to go on the block, which sounds fucking crazy, but how many people can say with 100% certainty at Final 6 they were not going home? I knew that Jeff needed to feel safe at Final 6, so I took the seat next to Kendall, ensuring that the Final 5 key holder didn't feel like a must-win for him. David also at this point pulled in me and McKenna to form what would later be dubbed the Thriving 3 Alliance after making a Final 2 deal with me that I accepted. And David, I want to say to you personally, this was my lowest moment morally in the game. I knew if I didn't take your deal, you would cut me. And if I did and won, I would have to break it. But if I had not, I would have been in 4th place instead of Daniel. So now I'm well positioned in Final 4. Daniel, I really did want to go to Final 3 with you, but I also knew that neither of you were going to evict me if you won. I went for the Final 4 key holder, but lost, and McKenna tried to keep me safe. But David won the spare key, so I adjusted again and made him believe I was taking him to Final 2. And then I sat in Final 3 knowing fully that either of them would take me to Final 2, and I still put my all into it and won Part 1 and Part 3, making the final big move of the season, sending David home. Love me or hate me, I was influential in almost every vote this season, whether as key holder or in ensuring my allies were safe. The whole season I sat on the block a total of 3 eviction nights and never once had a vote cast against me. I played the hell out of the season, maneuvering my way through and making sure that no matter what, someone else was painted as a bigger target than I was. I look forward to answering your questions honestly, but I won't sugarcoat things. I played the game that I played to get myself in this seat, and I'm here to take accountability for all the things that I did. And I know that I had to hurt, backstab, and lie to each of you, but I won't apologize for using my perception in the game to make decisions to get further. I came into this saying I wanted to trust my instincts and play a smart game and finally make it to the end, and I proved that I'm a social, competitive, and strategic threat, and I deserve to win.
Perfect. Mine was that. Gotta learn how to turn that thing off. All right. So we are going in order of who joined the pool house first. So with that being said, Carlo, you can go on video and you can say what you want to say and ask your question, and your time will start when you start speaking.
Hi guys, congratulations. I missed you. So yeah, no problem here. I love watching you together. Although I wasn't able to, after I was voted, I was just listening to the people for who comes to the penthouse, so a pool house. So I really don't know what happened after I was voted out exactly. It was just people telling me things about it. All right, so I have a 2-part question, one for each. I'll start with Jeremy. Jeremy, did you choose McKenna because you know you can win against her easily?
No, I genuinely, so when I decided that I wanted McKenna to be my final 2, I said there were 3 situations in which I would consider cutting McKenna in final 3. Those 3 conditions had to be, I won the final key holder, I was 100% confident that I wouldn't win against McKenna, and I was 100% sure I was going to beat the other person that was in final 3 with us. So those 3 conditions were not met. And I felt that me and McKenna both played an extremely strong game, and that it would be probably a close vote between the 2 of us, because largely me and McKenna were responsible for most of what happened to the season. So I think that I'm sitting next to the person that helped me run this season, and I'm very happy with either of us winning.
All right, I hope it pays off. Now for McKenna. If you were to choose a person to sit next to you, because for your top 2, anyone from the game, even pre-jury, who will it be and why?
Are you saying aside from Jeremy?
Aside from Jeremy.
I would pick Daniel. Daniel was the person that I, like Jeremy mentioned, we were in the inner circle with. I felt like We had a very strong, both personal and game connection. And I felt like if I wasn't going to sit next to Jeremy, I planned on sitting there with Daniel.
Okay, so you're choosing the people who strategize the most. Is that what you're saying? Or
I mean, I'll be honest, I felt like I had a case against Daniel for sure, a strong case against Daniel.
okay, all right. That's all, Steph. Peace out.
All right. Thank you, Carlo. If you'll go off video for us. Next up, we have Benji. Benji, go on video. Is he there? Benji? Ah, there he is. All right, Benji, your time, 5 minutes will start when you start speaking. Oh, you kind of pushed for a second. Okay.
I just want to congratulate you both for making the final two. I know I've never made the final two. I've only made three, so I don't know who it is two there. I have no bad vibes toward both of you at all. Like, I mean, me and Jeremy went after each other. We kind of, I heard you saved me, so that saved your ass a lot. But the question I have for both of you is, I'm starting with McKenna. If you were to lose tonight, give me 3 reasons why you think you lost.
Sorry, I was muted. If I lost, I think it could be because I would be perceived as playing an under the radar game when people wanted to see bigger moves. I think it would be because people wouldn't like that I did, in fact, throw comps early on, which I felt like was a part of my strategy, but I think it's understandable if there's people that don't appreciate that in a way. And thirdly, because Jeremy is a great competitor, and I knew that, and I was very glad that they took me, believing that I was as well, but I don't think that losing to Jeremy is the absolute worst. Like, yeah.
Okay. And same question for you, Jeremy.
I would echo McKenna's third point that, like, I think we both played really good games. And so I think that that is one factor that would lose it to me. I think that some people might look at the personal way that I played this game and think that I was manipulating people's emotions to advantage myself in the game, which people might hold against me. And I'm hoping that I can show people that that's not what the kind of person that I am. And maybe people will think that I was too flashy. I mean, I was very public about a lot of things that I did, especially in the earlier game towards you, so it's possible that I think people might look at me and say, you were flashy just for the sake of being flashy, so you don't deserve to.
All right. I just want to congratulate you two. You played amazing. I'm still tossed in the air, so I'm waiting to hear other ones. I knew I was second, so there's a road ahead of us. So congrats again, you guys.
Thank you, Benji.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much, Benji. All right. Next up, we have Kay. So Kay, you can go on video. And your time will start when you start talking.
Hey guys, congrats. I'm still very undecided because some things came to light 2 nights ago when we had our round table. Jeremy, I thought we were kind of close, but it seems that we weren't, and kind of hurt my feelings, buddy. And McKenna, there wasn't much of a social connection with you and I don't know. So it's like the opposite end of the spectrum here. Jeremy was too emotional and you didn't have enough emotion. So trying to think of my question. Jeremy, do you think you hurt people's feelings with your game? And McKenna, after Jeremy, do you think that you not reaching out as much will hurt your game? That's it.
First, I want to say I do feel genuinely close to you. Like, all of our conversations, I genuinely enjoyed from a personal standpoint, but we didn't start talking game until the round before Benji went home. So as much as I appreciated the personal connections that we had, my game connection and getting me to sitting in this final two, I had to go with the people that I knew would have my back from a gameplay standpoint because they had to. We did everything together. So if they were going to be, people were going to be mad at us, they would be mad at us together if we were all sitting here. But to answer your question, I think that yes, some people may have hurt feelings because of the way that I played the game. And I can take ownership of the fact that I am a very, very, very social and emotional person. And that's just who I am. Like David, on the first day I opened up to about why I feel like I'm non-binary and what that means to me. And that's not a conversation that I'm like looking to gain anything from a game perspective from. I'm just getting to know people because I love getting to know people. So I do genuinely feel like we built a strong connection and a strong friendship in the game, and that may hurt me, but I don't regret it because I love you as a person.
Thank you.
And I would say, Kay, I didn't feel like we were super close, but you were also still someone that I enjoyed getting to know. I loved that you talked so highly of me being a speech therapist, like just outside of the game. Like, I love that. I love my occupation, and I loved hearing you talk about that and seeing the pictures of your kids and all that. Like, that was just another special outside of the game thing. And I wanted to be social, but I wanted to be social in a way that wouldn't impact people personally too much. I have played games in the past where I have found out that people took things so personally in a game way that they were truly, truly hurt. And I've been in games where it got to the point where I was playing to not hurt people's feelings. I wasn't playing to win. I was just playing to preserve relationships with people. And since that, I try to be delicate about creating real relationships with people, but not making too many promises and making them think like it is you and I no matter what, absolutely 100%, knowing that that's not my true feelings. And at the point, I really liked you, but there came a point where I saw my path to go to the end and to potentially win the game. And I didn't think that it was bringing you with me or going with you, I guess. And so I didn't want to put that hope there if I knew that that wasn't my real plan.
Thank you.
Is that all for you, Kay? Oh, she went off video, so I'm going to assume that's a
Yes.
yes. Thank you, ma'am. So next up, we have Kendall. Obviously, your time will start when you start talking.
Hi, guys. Okay, starting with, this is going to be kind of weird, but I do things weird in jury. So starting with McKenna, how do you feel about penguins?
Penguins?
Mhm.
Oh, they're adorable. I actually went to an aquarium recently, and I didn't see penguins, but I saw puffins, who I think are like a cousin. Ooh. And they were adorable, and I love them. And I used to watch a really obscure movie about penguins and sing a song about them, but you didn't maybe need that too.
Is there a follow-up question?
It's the same question for Jeremy.
Oh.
Bye.
How do I feel about penguins?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically, I'm remembering this one movie I watched as a kid where the penguin had this like little green stone that he kept losing fucking everywhere, but he would spend the entire movie running around trying to save this stone. And it was always like the cutest thing and would bring me joy as a kid. And Happy Feet was one of my other favorite movies as a kid because I used to love, I can't dance. I have 2 left feet. So I loved watching other people dance, and then watching penguins dance. My child brain was like, oh, fuck, that's so cute. So now I just like forever love penguins.
Yes. Okay. Now, McKenna, how do you feel about lions?
About lions?
Mm-hmm.
Well, specifically, the mountain lion has actually always been my favorite animal. And also, I went to both undergrad and grad at Penn State, who our mascot is the Nittany lion. So mountain lions have actually always been my favorite animal. I'm not just saying that because this is your question, but I love them.
I don't like lions, but because I'm scared of them And because my high school mascot, the first high school that I went to where I was like bullied relentlessly, our mascot was a lion. So whenever I think of a lion, I immediately think of that and then the Lion King. So it's kind of redeemed by the music in the Lion King, but like there's still a lot of trauma there, and we'll just leave it away.
Okay, I'm good. Love you guys.
Thank you, Kendall.
All right, thank you, Kendall. That was unusual, but I liked it. All right, so next up we have Jeff. Jeff, you can go on video and your time will start when you start speaking.
Alrighty, so I'm just gonna get down to it because my questions are gonna be a little bit more. There's gonna be a little bit more answer to them. But McKenna, when you got to Final Five, you had to realize that you were gonna burn 3 people that were really close to you throughout the season. Did that really affect? Like, was there any point where you were just like, "This sucks," and you had to like second guess yourself, or were you just loyal throughout the way through to the first kind of situation you had agreed upon with Jeremy?
Do you mean, did I consider not going to the end with Jeremy?
Correct.
I knew that I was gonna have to evict you guys, but that wasn't a negative, or that wasn't something that I didn't have feelings for. Honestly, Jeff, there were times where the group talked about backdooring you earlier, whether it was the live or whatever. And I think it was the final 6, we talked about it. And I was like, I don't think that I can like morally evict Jeff at 6. So that definitely was something that played into a factor. I had very strong feelings for all you guys, and it was going to be horrible having to evict you. 100%. That was not an easy task.
Okay. Jeremy, this is a little bit more of a personal question because I loved your video that you sent me to the exit, but unfortunately in it you lied to me in that you told me that you said until McKenna and Daniel got off call with me, you didn't know that I was going home. From everything that's been going on, already having a final 3 and then a final 2 with McKenna, can you really say that you didn't know that you weren't going home?
Okay, but in my brain, which considers every possible angle that could happen, there is a world where David and Daniel and McKenna decide that I am the bigger threat and send me home.
Yeah.
So until they told you and you knew that you were going home, I was not 100% sure that they were going to save me. So I was pretty confident, but I was not 100% sure that they were going to save me because I could see a world where I, as a voter, considered voting out the other person because I saw them as a bigger threat. Yeah. So why would they not then think of the same thing?
Okay.
Can I refute that?
Huh?
Am I allowed to refute that?
Refute what? Him saying that?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say that would disagree with what he said?
I just think the round before that, Jeremy volunteered when I was Keyholder to go on the block. And I don't know why, if it's Kendall versus Jeremy and Jeremy saying I volunteered to go on the block versus Kendall, when you would likely be perceived the stronger threat than Kendall in the game, potentially to win. I don't think that without 100% certainty, Jeremy volunteers to go on the block then, unless they still had it later when they're up against you.
But that's also a different scenario because that's a different scenario.
Question, so I'm going to cut you both off.
Let Jeff continue.
I understand what you're saying, Jeremy, and I can agree with both of what you're saying. So it's not going to have any effect. To a certain degree, we work together, and I had to pull a knife out of my back from both of you. Why do you deserve my vote? I'll start off with Jeremy because I started off with McKenna first.
I think I deserve your vote because I visually and mentally knew that you in the end of this game were going to win. I knew that very, very early on in this game. And I chose to work with you because I knew that you were a strong player and that you would get very, very, very far into this game. I didn't align myself with people that I didn't think would be a benefit to me getting very far in the game with them.
Okay. I'm going to cut you off. I appreciate that, but McKenna has to have a chance to answer. Go ahead, McKenna.
I think that you should vote for me, especially due to our last conversation. You told me, I wanted to be honest with you and tell you that you were going, and then you told me, McKenna, I think you're next. You told me that you really respected the game that I played and you thought I was playing really well and you expected me to go out at 4. And I did win at 4, but I also didn't win out. I still had sort of the relationships to get there in Jeremy taking me. And I feel like you were being honest in that moment, saying that you appreciated the game that I was playing and thought that I was doing a good job. And
I did, but as a final thing, you also knew at that point that you were set to run the end. You had enough of a with a final 3 and a final 2. But that's the end of my time. Thank you very much. Good luck to both.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for stopping on time. All right, next up we have Daniel. He's ready to go. So your time.
I just realized I'm still wearing my Survivor buff, but whatever, that's fine.
It's okay. We love all games.
I'm cross contaminating here. I'm sorry. So this is just. I mean, I'm second to last here, and you know, I'm trying to like think of something to say to like tear you guys down, but I just love both of you guys, and just, you know, if it couldn't be me up there, I'm glad it's you two up there, and I just want to say I do have a question though. I do have a question. It's just directed towards McKenna. I do just want to know, McKenna, I would love to get like an example, a specific example of like when you were. Let me back up a little bit. Sorry. So I feel like Jeremy played like a very transparent game in terms of like, you know, he was very vocal, or they were very vocal about, you know, in the video chats and things like that. Whereas your game was very much more under the radar and just kind of not as visible. And so I have more questions just for you, but I want to know one example of when you were really ruthless and cutthroat in this game, and when you had to make a cutthroat decision and really make a stand. Yeah,
that was, I'd say, the Jordan eviction, because I had you guys that I was close with, but I also was really close to Benji, and that is part of why I wouldn't vote to evict Benji. Before that eviction, Benji called me and said, I'm worried that you are throwing away my life in the game. Like, I'm with you. I'm begging you. Please keep Jordan. And it broke my heart to just be like, I can't. Like, for my game, I cannot do this. And I know that I felt like it was hurting both Benji's game and Benji's feelings, but there was just no way that it made sense for me to do that because it wasn't the best for my game. And that was really a hard decision to make, but I felt like that really hurt Benji. And that was a big moment.
Okay. Thank you. I yield my time.
All right. Well, thank you, Daniel. Last but not least, we have David. David, do you have any questions for us?
I do. So before I begin, my time has already started. I need you two to grab a piece of paper. I need you to write A and B on it. Go. All right, next thing, I'm only going to allow you guys 10 seconds to answer each question because I have a long list of questions to get through, so I'm going to cut you off. So just be ready for that. So time is ticking. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, go ahead and write A and B, and you're going to answer questions here in a little bit. Go ahead and get that set up. But before we begin that, I'm going to ask this. During our interview before this game started, we were asked a series of questions. Jeremy, how would you vote if you were on jury? So what qualities do you look for? You get 10 seconds, go.
I look for the person who played the most well-rounded game.
That's it, well-rounded, got you. McKenna, how would you vote?
I would vote for the most deserving player who had the most agency in the game and also had good relationships with everyone.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the next portion is called this or that, okay? These are qualities that you look for in a key holder, which means the winner of this game, okay? So you're gonna be asked this or that. So the first answer choice is gonna be A, the second answer choice is going to be B, okay? So if you think it's the first one, you're gonna hold up A, second one's gonna be B. You'll get a total of 5 seconds to make your decision on each one, okay? You have any questions about how that works? Nope, all right, cool. All right, first one, and these are for qualities of a key holder. Strategy or comp beast? Okay, next one. Honesty or deceit? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. All right, next one. Social or floater? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Next one, loyalty or several allegiances. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next one, manipulative or open to discussions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Next one, connections or distance. So in other words, this is in terms of relationships. Connections or you distance yourself away from people. Correct. All right. Next, and the last one is consistent or wishy-washy. 5, 4. Thank you. All right. So Jeremy, you stated that in a key holder, you want a person who is strategic, deceitful, is social, has several allegiances, is manipulative, and has connections, and is consistent. Okay, so how many of those qualities do you feel that you possess?
All of them.
You have 6 of them, all of them. Okay, all right, thank you. McKenna, how about you? How many of those qualities? You stated that you want people who are strategic, deceitful, social, has several allegiances, are manipulative, have connections, and are consistent.
All of them.
You okay. So I just wanted to make sure that you felt like you had all of those. All right, next questions. All right. Let me go ahead and look at my next question. So Jeremy, actually, I'm gonna pick on McKenna first, and then I'll pick on Jeremy. McKenna, give me 3 reasons why Jeremy shouldn't win. 10 seconds, go.
1, I think Jeremy wasn't as loyal as Jeremy claims. At the K vote or the K eviction, Jeremy wanted to backdoor you. There was this whole plan about potentially backdooring you, but then later saying that you were going to go to the final 3, potentially, even though you were actually supposed to be 4th place. They wanted you in 6th, 7th, one of those. Secondly, too many flashy moves. I think flashy moves are fun, big moves are fun, but
right,
it's not.
For me now, thank you. All right. Jeremy, go.
The same question?
Yes, go.
Okay. I don't think McKenna should win because she was oh Jesus. She played very under the radar and never had to take power for herself. She threw a lot of the competitions early on in the game. And I think that she was the 2 of us, she was more wishy-washy.
All right, next one, Jeremy. At the end, you approached me about taking you to final 2. This isn't for Jeremy. This is for McKenna. McKenna, at the end, you approached me about taking you to final and promised you that to begin with. You've stated that Jeremy was your ride or die from the very beginning. How is this not considered backstabbing him at the end?
About.
So, you messaged me an hour prior to.
And I said, "Are you going to take me?" Yeah, I wanted you to take me, and so I wanted to see if you were going to take me or not. And if you said, "I'm not sure," anything other than yes, I wanted to try to convince you.
I had to kind of type this one out. I'm kind of slow on this one. Thank you. All right, next one.
5 seconds.
All right, Jeremy. That was my last one. I only have 5 seconds left.
Yeah, she's counting you down.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for those rapid fire questions. The king of questions this season came with the final hard questions for you guys. So after that is all our jurors from the pool house. So now you 2 will have 5 minutes for your closing statements. We will go opposite of what we started with. So Jeremy, you will be first. Time starts when you start talking.
Okay, first of all, I want to clear up what I just said in David's answer because I don't think that McKenna was wishy-washy. I think that McKenna worked really hard to make sure that everybody was looking at her as somebody that they could at least semi-trust, and that gameplay is different. It's one thing that we differ from in terms of our gameplay. A couple of things that I really wanted to highlight in my closing speech again is that I genuinely loved every single personal message that I shared with every single one of you. There was not a moment where I was talking to somebody and I was like, fuck, I'd rather be doing anything else than talking to this person. Not one. Kay, we talked endlessly about weed and shit, and we talked about your kids, and we talked about everything. And I loved coming onto Skype every day and looking at these notifications and seeing all of these people that I got to spend 39 days playing with. And I want to reiterate on the gameplay side of my stuff, I accomplished everything. I was tied for the most nominated person with David and with Daniel and Kendall, and never had a single vote cast against me all season. The only other person who can say that is McKenna, because she never sat on the block. I was on the block 3 times on eviction night and 3 times as initial nominee. 2 of those times, granted, I volunteered myself, but that was still a strategic move to make sure that my threat level was diminished versus somebody like David and Daniel who hadn't been on the block for so long. I was consistently making sure that my threat level was diminished and everybody else around me's threat levels were skyrocketing so that I would be the least targeted person in the room. I made sure that everybody was planning on taking me to at least final 3 so I would be able to fight for my way to the end, because I have never, ever, ever made it to a final 3 and actually had the opportunity to fight to get to a final HOH. I finally made it to a 3. I won the final HOH. I took my ride or die to the final, proving that I am truly loyal to the person that I have been loyal to since day 1. And that should show all of you that I have played such a strong game, despite having to be flashy to throw the target onto somebody else or to get the target off of my back. I did what I had to do to make sure that I would be sitting here today, and here I am. So I really hope you'll consider giving me your vote. I feel like I really have played the hell out of this season, but I also know that McKenna has played the absolute hell out of this season, and I am going to be so happy for whichever one of us wins this season, because I have loved getting to know all of you, and I've especially loved getting to know and play with McKenna. So I'm really, really grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for everybody that helped me get to the point that I'm sitting at today. And I really, really hope that you will consider me a good representative of a player of this season. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. All right, McKenna, your time will start when you start speaking.
Okay, again, I want to say thank you, host, jury, pre-jury, everyone, Jeremy. This has been such a fun season, and I echo what Jeremy said, and I was so happy that I met so many of you. It was so fun getting to know you guys, and I, regardless of how this turns out, really would like to continue talking to you guys afterwards. This was my first Big Brother game. I had no idea what to expect, but I'm proud of myself, and I'm very proud that I was able to make it here. I know that you guys looked at me as this under the radar player, and a lot of you guys know that Big Brother's great, but my first true love is Survivor. And there's one girl who was on Survivor, and what she always says is, she says, I wasn't under the radar, I beat the radar. And I don't necessarily think that I played exactly the same as that girl, but I do think beat the radar is a good way to describe my game. No one forgot that I was there or anything. I think that people believed that I was good at, or I believe I was good at remaining non-threatening while always being near the top and being an option for people to work with. It allowed me to sort of be in a semi-decision-making role and up there and choosing what I wanted to do and who I wanted to go with, somewhat with people knowing, but also when I wanted it to be hidden, also keeping it hidden. I kept myself positioned in a way that I was never targeted. And I think that at basically any time I would have been targeted, I probably would have had the votes to stay. I worked long-term, always thinking about strategy. Sometimes I'm a little late to open up and let you guys in on the game that I was playing, but I think you guys know that I was always thinking, and everything I did was a part of the game. Every move, every comp, whether I won it or didn't. I'm not saying I didn't try to win all the comps that I didn't win. I'm just saying in the beginning when I didn't. I had a lot of groups, a lot of relationships, and I tried to do everything in the right timing. I think timing is so important. And like I said, I didn't make huge, big moves, but I'm also a firm believer that big moves aren't everything. Big moves are fun, but they're not always smart moves. I wanted to make moves that would get me here. And I think I was good at managing what moves would get me here and potentially get me a win. I had a very methodical approach to the game. I hope you guys see that. I hope you guys respect my game for what it was. I really had so much fun. And I would love, love, love to get your vote tonight. I feel like I played well, and I do feel like I deserve this. But I agree, I absolutely love Jeremy, and I will be truly, truly happy with no matter how this turns out. This season has been so much fun, and to be honest, I'm really sad that it's ending.
All right, well, that wraps up the finale speeches. So at this time, we will ask all of the jury members to cast your vote for the winner. Cast your vote for the winner this time of Keyholder Season 1 in your diary room. We ask you send the key just because it's more fun for the hosts. And we will be back with results.
Good luck to the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we talk now?
Not yet. All right. So first off, I really want to say congratulations to the two of you. I know orgs are very difficult and can be very stressful. So I just want to say thank you for your time, and especially to all of you. Thank you so much for all your time. I'm trying to put on Do Not Disturb so the sound will go away. Thank you for all the time y'all showed up and we're here this season. We totally, as production, completely appreciate that. And so I'm not going to let these two finalists wait any longer. So Alex, take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, guys. So congratulations to both of you. As I told you guys last night, you guys did amazing. But as she said, we're not going to make you guys wait any longer. I'm going to go in order of as they went to the pool house and asked your questions tonight. So we'll start with Carlo. Carlo voted for McKenna. Benji voted for McKenna. Kay voted for Jeremy. Kendall voted for Jeremy. That's 2 votes McKenna, 2 votes Jeremy. Daniel voted for McKenna. Jeff voted for Jeremy. 3-3. The last vote comes down to David. Congratulations, season 1 winner of Keyholder, McKenna. You did a great job. You both played amazing. Congratulations.
Yay, y'all can get on video.
Congrats, McKenna.
Congrats, McKenna.
Thank you so much.
That was close.
All right. Congratulations.
Good job, McKenna.
Thank you, guys.
So that basically will conclude this
Good
part
job,
of the
Jeremy.
finale.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
That's going to basically conclude this part of the finale. So I'm going to stop the stream. However, stay on. We're going to add pre-jury. We're going to do some awards and we'll answer questions. I know some people have to go.